This is just for the RF tools. You want to upgrade your stuff. All right, this is a work of art. Over here, this is all the mechanisms. And when you want to automate mechanisms, one of the first things you need to do is you've got to have your infused alloy. You got to have your basic control circuits, rose quartz, redstone ingots, refined obsidian, refined alloys, enriched iron, and of course your atomic alloys. You know, those are all basic parts, parts for any other machine. And then from there you can do powdered obsidian, you can enrich diamonds, enrich redstone, which these goes right back into here. Up here, this is just a simple enriching factory for things that automatically need enriching, such as the Endermen ore, emerald ore. Because what it will do is it will duplicate, do 2 to 1. Expanded crafting. The lapis, draconium, redstone, ruby. Now for items that do not need to be enriched, we come over here and we actually use a processor. We purify. So of course to purify, I think we need oxygen. Yeah, we need oxygen to purify. Like here we have iron. And then the iron turns into iron clumps. It turns into dirty iron. Well, then we got to enrich the dirty iron. And once we enrich the dirty iron, then we have to smelt the iron into ingots. So it's a little processing factory. And up here, this is how we do all of our dusts and our blends in crushing. There is a better way of crushing by using create, but every now and then you don't need create. And then this little factory here is how I make my substrate from biofuel. Remember where we were getting our biofuel from? Liquid hydrogen. And this is where we make our HDPE pellet. Okay. I just had to mirror image. This and this are doing the same thing, but this one produces oxygen and this one produces hydrogen. Craft in the middle. I don't know. Combining factory. Ancient debris. Forget why I needed to do that. And Blackstone and Gilded Ultimate Infusing Factory. For some reason, and because it needed gold. This is exactly the same as these first 4. But I thought when I set these up, I'm like, I'll never need gold. I don't need gold. I'm not going to infuse anything with gold. And guess what? I needed to infuse with gold, so this is an afterthought. What? Darn Enderman. Stop leaving your trash laying around. Anyway, the nice thing about afterthoughts is you've usually got the hard part figured out. You plug it in. All right, this is level 6, which I use to breed my bees. You got to have a bee farm with the all the bees, because this is like 90% of all my resources. Any resource I need. There's my cake bee. Remember I was telling you about the cake for my Britannia, for mana? This little guy produces so much cake. I was actually deleting most of it. And I showed you my squeezers on how to squeeze the honeycomb for the resources. But yeah, these bees, they don't escape, so I don't have to worry about them. I don't think this dirt block is supposed to be here. Darn Enderman! Stay out of my beehive. So anyway, resources, resources, resources. This is the way to do it. Now, your bee containers, your beehives, they can only be a certain size, which is why I've got multiple. I got it. Get off of there. I wonder my lapis is running low. You hear the popping sound? That's the bees going in and out. Boop, 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 boop. But all this is being automated because once the bees go in here and do their thing with the honeycomb is actually being deposited into a storage chest. And then this pipe, you notice I'm using universal pipes instead of digital storage. Pipes it into here, and then that goes to the digital storage. Which is why you keep seeing little honeycombs pop up, or not the honeycombs, the honey blocks. Okay. And then you saw my problem bees. I did have them over here. Doggone it. Stop making a mess of my base. Bees are a grind. But I tell you what, once you actually get it working as designed, resources, resources, resources for days. Love it. Bees is a good mod. Resourceful bees. Okay, I decided to make 7 my power plants for my reactors. These are the power reactors. And they are working. I didn't put these reactors in the void with my other reactors because these were technically my first reactors. And I've worked with power before. I know they're not going to blow up. Yeah, they're so stable. I'm using 100% of the power produced here, 100% here, and these are all automated. Every one of them automated. And you can see the reason they're empty is they're powering the base. They are powering the base. Oh, wait a minute. That one's not. Let's don't ignore. That one shows off. Why is that off? Oh, never mind. It's not off. That's the color of the reactor. That's a nitro reactor, spirited reactor, niotic, blazing reactor. So basically, as I started with my starter reactor, got it up and running, I made the next tier and the next tier and the next tier. That's why I love powers, because it's also tiered like mechanism. This is the honey generator, which produces power from honey. I don't need it. I mean, it's only producing 100 RF per tick. But I figured, hey, you know, this is my reactor base. I might as well set it up. And you know, I've got infinite honey, so I've got billions of honey. Won't run out of honey. This is not technically a reactor. I mean, it is a reactor. But this is kind of like the prototype Why is it off? Why was it off? Who turned it off? It must have turned itself off. This is the prototype of the big reactor in the void. The one that's actually producing 770 something. And I'm using cyanide fuel for this one instead of yellowite. I wonder why that was turned off. And in order to use the fuel, I need a reprocessor. Basically what this does is it takes the cyanide and converts it into fuel that you can actually use. And I didn't realize how tall it was, so I made it 2 stories tall. Why was that turned off? Who keeps turning my stuff off? Okay. Now, there we go. It's turning it into plutonium, which plutonium can be put back into the reactor like this one. Well, it's supposed to anyway. Okay, anyway, that's my power level. Early game, technically. Yeah. Thought it looked kind of dumb, just having it floating, so I gave it some legs. Ooh, do you remember? Stupid Enderman. All Endermen must die. Remember how I told you I needed a lot of latex? Yeah, I set up some latex farming down here in the basement. We've got a block placer along with multiple fuel extractors, 3 fuel extractors per log to extract the latex. And then piped into here. And even though this is full with like 500,000, no, 20 million millibuckets, milliliters. When I was crafting some of my resources, some of my, I think it was for, was it my fission reactor? No, my fission storage. That ran out. I was running out of latex. All right, level 9. I have never built on level 9. It's just been here just in case. Just in case. This is bedrock. And I was using this corner to produce flux powder. And you got to grind it. There's no way of automating it. You got to stick it on bedrock. You got to hit the obsidian. The obsidian falls, turns your redstone into flux powder. And I sat here for hours while I watched a movie making flux powder because I love my flux network. Had to grind it out. This is my laser, the ore laser, which is mining ore, but it's very slow, even with a tier 2 add-on. And there you go. And it's mining ore. This is the only way you can get prosperity ore, I believe it is, because they changed the recipe. You can't mine for prosperity ore. Prosperity. Yeah, this right here. This prosperity ore. You can use an orchid, but I'm in the wrong biome. Or you can use a combiner, but you already have to have prosperity in order to combine it. Or the mining laser. That's it. This is the only way. So right now I'm automating the shards, but I did run out of shards. Hi, what do you got to sell for me, Goblin Buddy? Let's see. I can get 3 ingots from 2. I can get an emerald from a half a stack. This was always a good deal. Starting game. Mine your ore. Give it to this guy. 2 ingots. You double your resources. I can't tell you how much these guys saved my bacon trying to get iron at the beginning of the game. However, here at the end of the game, they're just a nuisance. Okay, anyway, so that's why the ore is going, is for prosperity. Because everything else is just bonus. But that's the basement. Okay, so that's pretty much the home base with all the different mods. Oh, it's nighttime. That's sweet. I do not have the energy nor patience for a fraction of what you've done. Well, like I said, I've tried to figure out how long I've been playing this one particular mod pack, and it's around 2 years. I have tried to go into here, and you can see the last time it was modified. Modified 5 weeks ago, 7 weeks ago, 1 week ago, 17 weeks ago did I touch a zombie. You know, what's 17 weeks? 4 months? 5 months? You know, I've tried going through here seeing what's the oldest item I've touched. And the problem I run into... Oh, look at that. Solium dust, 35 weeks ago. What's 35 weeks? There's 52 weeks in a year. But this... Oh, there's another 35 weeks. Imperium coal. This is only from the time that I touched that particular item in this particular storage system. It has absolutely nothing to do with the amount of time I spent before I built the storage system and stopped touching that one item. Okay, anywho, guys, why are you staining on my globe? I think I've showed you. This is the actual questing book, and like I said, I love the way they put these quests together. They put in here like a progressions chart with kind of... This is a recommended way of doing the mods because they're locked. They're gated. You can't open one mod until you've completed another mod. So that is an additional layer of challenge to the whole pack. So there was a lot of times I had to get creative in how to build something before I was able to unlock the mod. The good news is, on the progression, they give you little statues, little rewards for unlocking, for finishing the mods. You know, we've got an extended crafting trophy, got a power trophy, you know, we got a thermal trophy, Twilight Forest trophy. Ooh, my rat trophy. You know, so you do get a little reward. There's my Sonic the Hedgehog trophy. You do get a little reward for completing the mod. Now, not just completing the mod, but completing how they've done the mod. Okay, miscellaneous. This is a good way to start. It's by no means